So my mind thinks it's an energy drink because it's in a can.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just get completely let down. I just want the fizz. Even if I had a Diet Coke, I'd be like,
oh, right. The carbonation feels so good. This kind of feels like someone told me about what watermelon tastes like. And I'm thinking of that, and then I drink the water, and I kind of like, oh yeah, that's what watermelon tastes like.
Until you actually dive in.
This is the same amount of flavoring for watermelon they use to make 10 million drinks.
those is it called hint? Exactly.
It's literally a hint. It's a hint.
It has a hint of watermelon.
Yeah, they could have got it wrong. It could have been the rind. It would have been flavored like the rind. I would have definitely not drank it.
Imagine if you were actually. I had a friend of a friend. So my aunt used to work at Kawasaki in PR. And we're rolling right now, by the way. So this is going into the podcast. I'm glad you guys are listening to this. Here. So I had an aunt. She worked in PR for Kawasaki. There was a writer named Jason Britton. He crashed his bike really hard early in his career and broke like his face and lost his sense of taste and smell for like a decade. Then the dude has like a completely unrelated surgery. Not on like face or anything, not on any of that. It was like on a shoulder or a knee, and woke up and had taste and smell back.
I have a story like that.
Do you actually?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this guy in our gym, he works for a company, and this company makes this like eye mask. And he's like, the guy who invented this was in a crazy car accident when he was 19, and there was like a truck coming down a bridge that he couldn't turn, and he just drove off the bridge, and he fell like 60 feet and was like basically paralyzed from the waist down and in extreme pain. So much pain, the doctors told him like,
he was a 15?
You're gonna die in 6 months.
Oh my God.
And he was watching movies, and this is hilarious. He was watching the movie Hudson Hawk with Bruce Willis, arguably one of the worst movies ever made. But for whatever reason, him watching some scene in there where he's like doing some stupid thing like skiing or sliding down, put his mind into this like flow state where all of his pain disappeared.
Oh my God.
Completely. And he was like, what just happened there? And he like started to research it, and he found that like you could like kind of get into this place where you would like, he like basically, the short story is he like alleviated all of his pain, had no more pain after this. After he built this device and prototyped it, it like flashes lights and does all this sound stuff. And crazy, like just out of nowhere went from like having tons of pain to Hudson Hawk now has no pain, right?
We should have asked Dr. Quinn about that when he was on the podcast.
They gave me the mask. I tried it. It was amazing. Like I put it on, and he was like, put on before you bed, and before you go to bed, you'll fall asleep instantly. And I did. And it was like 5 minutes in, I was out. It was crazy.
But it was $10,000 to buy it. So
it's like $1,800, and it's like FDA approved.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're working on getting it into market. Yeah, I'll have to remember what it's called. I'll look it up after this.
Yeah,
and tell you.
I mean,
it was crazy, like wildest thing. And I'm like a huge like skeptic kind of thing, and I was like, yeah, this is bullshit. And I tried. I was like, unbelievable. But same kind of thing, like out of nowhere, boom, does this weird thing, and then Bruce Willis as Hudson Hawk saves the day.
Oh my gosh. Well, I wonder what kind of software subscription Bruce Willis has, because today we're talking about the 3 most valuable pieces of software that every coach should be using.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about you, Max, but I have like probably 30 software subscriptions.
Yeah.
I actually was reviewing our accounting for the gym. This was like last year, so 2020, end of 2023. I was really looking at every line item, and I realized that I was spending $6,000 a month on software subscriptions.
That's it?
Yeah. And I looked through it, and I'm like,
cow.
oh my gosh, like there's just things we haven't touched in so long that we're still on there.
Yeah.
I know everyone's like that nowadays with like TV. You have every like $10 here, $20 there, just dings, and you have no idea what it's for.
Was it mostly small time things, or was it a lot of big ones?
No, it was all like small little things that have been added over the years.
Did you cut a lot of them out, or?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Or even like seats on like Calendly or something that we no longer use.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I want to say, so with being tactical here, so what are your top 3 things software subscriptions coaches should be using?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to say number 1 is a coaching platform. Obviously,
Coach
Logic, obviously. But yeah, you need some kind of software to manage this. You can get by with whatever, but pick a software that's going to work. The second would be some kind of CRM. Yeah. So you have to have some way of communicating and be able to like actually manage like the process of the business. And then third is like, it's kind of a toss up. In my mind, I would probably put something like a subscription to like some kind of an LLM. So like a ChatGPT or whatever other ones there are out there. There are some open source ones that are probably free to use. But I would suggest that because there's a lot of value in that in as far as like you need to write something really quick or get some ideas. So those are my top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm the same. It's coaching software, it's CRM, it's LLM, and my bonus would be like an accounting software like QuickBooks.
Yeah. I would put as a bonus, definitely like some kind of accounting software. You could probably get by if all you're doing is remote coaching and like you only have clients there and you know whatever, like your expenses are well kept track of somewhere else, you could probably get by without it, but QuickBooks would definitely be up there.
It just tells you what your true metrics are.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Or like I wouldn't have caught all the software subscriptions had I not had QuickBooks to then see. Obviously that's from at a gym level where we have a lot of expenses, but it gives you a really good finger on the pulse of how your business is doing because you want to treat your remote coaching like a business. It scales and grows like a business. In the coaching software side, again, we have biases here, but out of curiosity, what are your top 3 things a coaching software should give you to make it the most productive thing you can use?
I mean, the top 3 are going to be, it has to be integrated. It has to be like, it's not just a place to send messages and programming. You have to have billing included. You have to have some kind of way of cutting out the cost of other subscriptions. So like what we did with Coach Logic is integrate like natively the video annotation. So you don't need to have a Loom subscription. And then the third is probably you have to have some kind of ability to manage and track what's going on with your clients. So like, if it's integrated billing, you get that, the subscriptions they're paying. If it's messaging, if it's just communication, that's fine as well. But like some way of like alleviating the need to go outside the app to do messaging and communicate with people and all that.
Yeah, in an ideal world, you really shouldn't have to leave the app to provide the service.
Exactly.
Is the goal. Okay. Yeah, and on the CRM side, I have a lot of experience with. I've used CRMs like HubSpot. We use Go High Level for the gym and for Coach Logic. And I've tested a bunch out there. At one point I was using Salesforce, but literally could not figure out how to use it. I still don't know what their company does.
It's crazy.
Still don't know.
They create shareholder value.
Oh my gosh. It's and they have that huge building in San Jose. I'm like, what are they doing?
The giant one in San Francisco. The Salesforce Tower. It's insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I even have Salesforce stock. They're creating me shareholder value. But in the CRM, so a lot of coaches I think listening to this probably don't have one.
Yeah.
So I'm down to get a little bit more granular there.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things a CRM does really, really well is you can build all of your email automations.
Yes.
So from a sales standpoint, your leads should be getting emails, whether it's your newsletter or you're dropping a piece of education with some sort of call to action. Things should be dripping maybe every other week.
Yeah.
And when it comes to actual clients receiving information, I think that clients should also be receiving some touch points every other week, whether it's furthering their education, updating them on what's happening with your coaching. If you have a gym, obviously with your gym, and then the highest level, like even some tech stuff as well. Alerting, like even for our gym, like alerting clients when the gym is closed for a meet. I want to make sure every client gets that to their phone because not everyone checks their email, or emails do bounce. Text gets through. And then on top of that, like that added touch point of a text. Now it's a green text, so it's not as special and cool.
Yeah.
But at scale, like these are the activities we probably should be doing. So top 3 things a CRM should have is obviously email capabilities. They all do. Some of them have text, so I recommend yours have a text capability.
Yeah.
And then number 3, like Go High Level has a social media planner.
Yeah.
I'm able to batch like all of our content. For the gym, we batch all of our content on there. We post it out. It's scheduled on a calendar. We're able to tag people in it. We can even respond to like DMs in there and comments.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've used it.
Yeah, so it allows you to get off of your phone and let's be real, when you're on your phone on Instagram, like you end up scrolling for an hour and then you're like, oh shoot, why did I get on here in the first place?
Yeah.
And then so those are the things that CRM should have. Those are my top 3. And I could do a whole episode on that. With the CRM stuff too, I get a lot of friction with coaches I coach for business of like when they should be adding these things. So like with a CRM, I would say if you're a coach and if you're a solo coach and you have probably 40 to 50 clients already, and if your goal is to grow this past yourself, so if you want to scale this to multiple coaches where you're handling, clients for multiple coaches and communicating with them, building brand, all that stuff, and your volume of leads is high enough to where the physical reach out, the manual reach out of phone stuff is getting really difficult, or manual email, some automations and workflows can really, really help you and make all the difference.
Yep.
that would be huge. And then same thing with like on the social media side. If you batch things out, it's just way more seamless and easy to use.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most underrated element, is like being able to communicate with prospects, with people that might be leads or people that have churned. Maybe they'll come back. If you just coach somebody and then they leave and that's it, you just ghost and you never speak to them again, it's like you're missing out on the reality of like some of these people would come back. They'd come back and train with you. Maybe they're done training for now, but they'll reach out later. If you're constantly, and we see this all the time on the metrics of our emails when we send them out, the open rate will go way up when you start providing value. You start sending out content about how to train or lifting or whatever it is. People want to read that. It's value, and you're providing something for them. If all you do is send out ads about having 2 spots left, then you're just it's just open rates go down and no one clicks through.
Yeah.
So you need to, with a CRM, build up the ability to like use it as a way of communicating to your current members and people that are interested and new people that are coming in, right? You want to be able to send that out. If you don't have that basic functionality in CRM, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and I'd say lower barrier, even if you have less clients and you don't want to invest in an expensive CRM. A lot of these run $200, $300 a month. Like that's an expense. Get an email marketing software. Those are usually like $40, $50 a month. It could also depend on the size of your list.
You'll scale with the list usually, right?
Yeah. And start there, like with a MailChimp is totally fine as well. The email list is massive for return and just providing more value. You can only post so much educational content on IG, TikTok, the short form places really aren't the best for that like educational piece. It's just all about like getting the clicks and the views really fast. Whereas email, we can really dive into the nitty gritty on training, the nitty gritty on coaching, who we help, and some testimonial stuff that you can't fit into a post that'll actually do decently well.
100%. Absolutely.
The last thing you mentioned, and I did too, is the AI LLM stuff. So what should a coach really be using AI stuff for?
I would say the benefit of it is off the bat, it's like you basically augment your workflow. So you can say, you can ask it questions, you can communicate. The benefit of a lot of these language models is that the reasoning capability is improving at a dramatic rate. So like you can use it where you can ask it questions about ideas you have. Going one shot, meaning you just ask it one prompt and you get a result, and saying that sucks, is not the way to use these tools. So if you go in and you say, okay, you go into like a ChatGPT, if you give it your athlete or your avatar, you give it what you're looking for, and then you write a longer in-depth prompt that gives it more context about like, hey, I've got an athlete who does this, this, and this. Here's my thought process on these. Have a discussion with it, and you can actually get some very, very good results out of these for ideas about like maybe some programming ideas or maybe some thought process like, I do this exercise to fix this problem. Does that make sense? Let's discuss this. It might give you some logical conclusions that are like, no, that doesn't make sense that you would do, chest flies to, whatever, increase pec strength or whatever it is, right? If you just have a one-shot thing, like ask it a question, get a response, you're not going to get out of it.
The other thing I find it really helpful for is marketing.
That's the other thing I was going to say is like, if you want to write emails,
emails, well, or even just like, so generate me 50 ideas on short form content. And then, or if you have long form content, have it turn your video into an email or a blog, and then have it turn your long form or blog into 10 short forms. It can give you scripts for the short forms. People used to have to spend hours. You used to have to really pay for someone to sit down and like do this stuff for you or do it yourself, hours of your time. And now it could pump out really good stuff where then you can take that, you can edit it a little bit, and then you 100%. Can run with it. If you're not using GPT or one of the LLMs right now, I do feel like people are falling behind.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, it's like you don't necessarily just give it a prompt and then pull the email and just copy and paste it. You ask it for a prompt, you tell it what you want, it creates an email, then you can edit that and be like, I got 80% of the work done and I just need to clean it up and make it have my voice. That's so valuable because it saves you time, but also a lot of people don't know what to do. They're going to sit there and be like, I need to write an email to my members. And you're like, okay. And you just sit there for an hour, sort of like fuddling through like, oh, okay, here's an email. It's just like not good. Whereas editing something that's 90% done is so much faster for you. And you can put your own voice, add your own context to it, and then you're done.
Yeah, and you can have GPT even like change the tone based on your tone. I would edit, take out or insert emojis. I find like GPT likes to put in like the check marks emojis and X's and stuff. And it's like, I think that one of the things people are realizing now is that when they see that stuff, they know it's AI and then they tune it out. So like making it seem more human-like, I think is really important. But everyone is leveraging it to some extent. So get on that bandwagon now so that you don't fall behind as a coach.
Yeah, you don't want to be like doing this at a pace that's way too slow.
Yeah, it's ultimately it's leveraging tools like this will help you get to the levels you want to go, and that everyone who you're competing against or trying to grow similar to, they're using these tools. Yeah. So ultimately, we'll keep it keep it simple today. It's coaching software is hugely important. CRM stuff I think is huge, or email marketing software, and then AI, LLM stuff. My one bonus would be QuickBooks.
Yeah, I would say QuickBooks for sure is like an obvious one, and for obvious reasons. Just doing basic business stuff that makes sense.
I think where QuickBooks I think can help a lot of. So I deal with like a lot of fitness entrepreneurs who come to me for business coaching, and like I always ask questions about their numbers. What's your profit margin? And then they'll just give me like a gross margin. So they'll actually give me like the amount of money they make after their like Stripe fees and processing fees and stuff like that. Or if they have other coaches, like subtract what the coach gets paid out of that. That's not a profit margin. Profit margin is after all expenses are paid. So like knowing what your actual gym or coaching business's profit margin is super important to making informed decisions. And it's in my daily, like every morning when I wake up, I spend 10 minutes categorizing expenses. Like I just do it every single day, just like someone should be checking Coach Logic every day to give clients their feedback. It's part of my daily routine. If you're ending the year and trying to categorize everything for your CPA, and hopefully you're paying your taxes, or not, if you're not paying taxes, like maybe just don't do this stuff. It's fine. But ultimately, like it will tell you, it gives you all that stuff to where you can just hand over the polished P&L and the expense sheet and balance sheet to your CPA, and they charge you a lot less too. Now all of a sudden your CPA doesn't have to spend 20 hours sifting through stuff. You don't have to pay them for that 20 hours. All your stuff is really clean and polished. Now, talk with your CPA and make sure that you're categorizing things correctly and maybe have them train you up on it. But I think a lot of people I talk to think they need to hire a bookkeeper for $500 a month or pay a really expensive CPA to do the work that is really easy to do.
Yeah, for sure. I would throw one more in that's not actually paid, but I would say instead of paying for something like Calendly, if you don't have the integration in like a CRM or whatever, use Google Meets. And you can usually, Google Meets is probably like connected to almost every app there is, but Google Calendar, Google Meets, like get familiar with how that works and really leverage it. Cause it's like, you can do video calls for free. I don't know why. I don't even know or understand how Zoom is still a business. It's just like the exact same.
Don't they have a building there too?
Zoom's everywhere, right? Like it's like the exact same business exists for free from Google. That service is absolutely incredible, but there's a lot there. So, leverage that, use it, get an organized calendar with your business email attached to it. So you're only focused on that stuff there. Don't include your kids' birthdays and all that. Like put it on there, right?
Exactly. So stay structured, utilize some softwares, and you'll get the tools you need to succeed.